Hello everyone and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new to the channel, I hope that you enjoy it and I hope that you hit that subscribe button and ring that little bell for notifications. Today we're going to talk a little bit about food storage. It's the next video in our preparedness series. I'll be sure there's a playlist that you can check out. I'll be sure to link this in the playlist so that you can keep up with this series. It's going to be an ongoing series about once a week. We're going to be adding new topics to discuss and hopefully to help you get better prepared. Right now, we're going to talk about food storage, how to start food storage, things that you need to take into consideration, that kind of thing. Let's get started. Food storage is one of those things that come in handy regardless of what's happening in the world today, okay? If you live in an area that is prone to hurricanes or to earthquakes or to snowstorms, you know, there's any number of things that can cause you to be stranded at home, my favorite place to be stranded, and make it so that it's hard to get out or difficult to get out or impossible to get out. And your food storage is something that will help you get through some of those rough times, okay? So a lot of times we get people who are brand new to food storage, and I know right now it's on a lot of people's minds, has been pretty much since March. So I'm gonna walk you through some of our tips and tricks for getting your food storage started and things to take into consideration while you're doing it. I'm a firm believer that your short-term and long-term food storage should consist of mainly the same things, a lot of the same things, or at the very least the ingredients to make some of these things. And they should all include only the foods that you know that you and your family enjoy and eat already. It's very, very important. So the first thing that you need to do when you're getting started in your short-term and long-term food storage is you need to start at ground zero. Pardon me. You need to go inventory what you currently have. It's not fun, but it's not like a dentist visit, you know. It's you just go in and you make a list. Now, if you want to really do a deep dive into it, check out our Project Pantry organizational system. There's a link in the description box below. It's not hard on your printer. I did it intentionally with just black and white. It's not graphics or anything. It's not real frou-frou and frilly. But it will get you to where you know what you have in all aspects of your pantry. And that's the really important part. You have to know what you have. It won't take you very long at all, if you're just starting out, to inventory everything that you have in all of those categories. Then what you need to do is you need to track what you use for a week. Do you know how much toilet paper you go through in a week? Do you know how many paper towels you go through in a week? Do you know how much cheese you go through in a week? You know, these are the kind of things that it's going to help you do. So just for a week, just track what's being eaten in your house. You don't even have to do quantities unless you really want to. That's a good thing. But just what is being used, what is being eaten. How many trash bags did you go through this week? Very important information in order to build your short-term and long-term pantry, okay? We're working on the short-term first. Don't forget to check in your freezer, in your refrigerator, you know, that kind of any place where you have food or sundry items stored, like your paper towels, toilet paper, garbage bags, that kind of thing. You want to be sure to write all of that down. Track your usage for a week. You may be surprised at what you, pardon me, at what you think you used, or think you use, and what you actually use. So for 1 week, just write it all down. By the end of the week, you'll have a pretty good idea of what it should be on that list. Remember, if you have babies, that you need to consider baby formula, baby food. If you have pets, you need to consider pet food. And by all means, water. Consider water. Now that you've taken inventory, you need to designate a place in your house for where you're going to store your food storage, okay? If you're just going to keep it in the kitchen, you need to figure out how much space you have in order to do that. If you have a spare room that you can put it in, you know, wherever you are deciding to put your long-term and short-term storage. In my mind, there's three kinds of pantries. There's your working pantry, there's your short-term pantry, and there's your long-term pantry. And for me, the short-term and the working pantry kind of meld into each other a bit because we're constantly using our pantry. That's the reason you have it. It's not to sit there and look at it. So you need to find a spot where you're going to be able to put this and organize it so that you know what you have in the future. I cannot stress enough how important it is to only purchase things that you know you and your family are going to use. If you don't currently eat beans, don't buy beans. If you don't currently use paper towels, don't buy paper towels, okay? Only purchase what you know you use and what you know you like, because an emergency is not the time to experiment. You want to make sure that you are also including some comfort food, okay? Like cookies or chocolate or hard candy, that kind of thing. Because if any of you noticed throughout the first shutdown, a lot of people went to some comfort food. There was the COVID-15 they talked about, okay? Because people, including myself, were looking for that comfort food to make us feel a little bit better. No, food should not do that. I know. Okay, fine, but it does. So you want to be sure to include some of that. Now, I can tell you that Hershey Kisses will last 3 years plus if you vacuum seal them. Don't ask me how I know. The next thing that you want to consider is coffee, tea, if you drink either one of those. I mean, I know for me, myself, a cup of coffee is pretty much a necessity. I'll drink tea, but coffee is a necessity. So I make sure that we have enough coffee for our long-term storage. There are a multitude of ways to preserve this. If you don't want to keep it in the containers that it came in, you can vacuum seal it in different packaging so that it stays fresher. Just make sure to stock up on some of that and include that on your list. When you're going shopping, when you get to that point where you're going shopping, you want to look at the dates. You want to look at the best by date, the expiration date. Now, a lot of people believe, I'm one of them, that these items are good past that date. But there is a point where you don't want to risk that, okay? And tomato-based products, acidic products, you know, like pineapple in tin cans, that kind of thing. Let's not go too much farther. I mean, I'm sure somebody will leave a comment, and I hope you do, you know, saying, oh no, I had this, you know, for this long. When you're looking at canned items and when you get around to using them, when you know, hopefully you're going to be rotating them through and just backfilling, but you want to really look at the integrity of the can that it's in to make sure that it's still safe. So best by dates, expiration dates, you know, but you want to try to get the date that's the farthest out. So if that means you have to reach into the back of the shelf at the store, reach into the back of the shelf at the store. I'm going to give you an example kind of based on a low budget, okay? So if you're looking at like $10 a week. Now, prices are going to vary depending on where you're at, okay? But there are ways to spend $10 a week strictly for food storage. If you have a little bit more and it's not going to put you in debt, then spend a little bit more. If you can, you know, that's the key. Don't go into debt to do this. Because that defeats the purpose. But there's a way to spend a minimal amount and actually stock up quite a bit. And you'll learn some really great skills. Maybe, you know, maybe instead of buying store-bought crackers, you'll learn to make your own. But you don't want to do it during the emergency. You want to prepare beforehand. So for the first week, I mean, you could do something like pinto beans. You can get those for $1 at, you know, a Dollar Tree or something like that. And tuna, 2 cans of tuna. You could get, let's see, for $10, you could probably get 2 bags of pinto beans, 2 cans of tuna. You can get a couple containers of salt, and you can get a bag of sugar. And you probably still have some money left over depending on where you shop, okay? So that right there, food storage, perfect. And that's if you eat those things, okay? And then the next week you go and you buy a few different things. Week 2 could be cans of vegetables, corn, green beans, whatever the case is, okay? And then the week after that, you could buy cans of tomato sauce or rice or pasta, okay? And stay in that $10 budget. And before you know it, you've got a week or 2 worth of food sitting right there. And you could always do the dreaded ramen noodles. Dreaded for me, other people love them, okay? But If you're a family that likes ramen noodles, those are so inexpensive you can stock up a ton of them. But stock up on some vegetables to go in them too. Using that method, it will take you a couple of weeks to stock up on a month's worth of food. It really will not be that terribly difficult. Buy canned, if you are not a canner, buy canned chicken, buy canned tuna. There are different meats, Spam, that kind of thing. You want your proteins. And if you eat the beans, beans. And then get your starches and get your vegetables. You've got the basics right there. Add spices. If you don't have the spices in your cabinet, add spices that you use. If you don't use curry, don't buy curry. Okay. So again, you have to pay attention to what you use, but, and then stock up on that. And there's all kinds of things that you can stock up for minimal amount of money. I mean, you can go to the Dollar Tree and get all kinds of spices. You can get cans of tuna. You can get clams, some of them, peanut butter. There are things that you can buy for a minimal amount of money to stock that pantry. So then the key is to get to that first month. Once you get to that first month, I want you to stop and give yourself a pat on the back. I mean, seriously, I am cheering for you. And if you share it with us, we will cheer with you too. Because that first month's worth of storage is just the best insurance that you could possibly have. Now, are you going to have everything you could possibly want? Probably not, but you're going to have what you need. And that is the key, okay? Because a lot of us ran into issues. If you bake bread, okay, and flour is one of your items that you stock up on, make sure that you're stocking up on yeast. Make sure that you're stocking up on baking soda. If vinegar, right now there are some places in the country where it's impossible to find vinegar with the 5% acidity. So if you see it and it's something that you use, whether it be for cleaning or cooking, you're going to want to grab some. Once you get to that point where you hit that month, you're like, whew, deep breath. But now you're not done. Now you're going to feel that rush when you go, oh, look at what I did. Look at what I did. This is where I tell you, stay off of Pinterest. Okay? Looking at pantries on Pinterest even make me feel inadequate. And I am remarkably comfortable with how stocked our pantry is. So stay off of Pinterest. This is where you want to pay attention to you, what you're working with, what you have, and how you can make it work best. When you're looking at long-term storage, there are some staples that you can definitely stock up on that will last you longer than other things. And some of those are beans, if you eat them. Coffee. Coffee is varying degrees. There are different kinds of coffee. This is something where Google will come in handy. Cornmeal, if it's part of your diet. Hard candy. Hard candy really is a good thing. And like the Hershey Kisses, they'll last forever if you vacuum seal them, okay? Oatmeal is a great thing to have. It costs almost nothing, and you can do so many different things with it. Pancake mix. Seriously, pancake mix. You want to talk about a comfort food? Pasta, rice. Pay attention, do some research on rice because different rices last longer than other ones. And then there's sugar. Sugar almost never goes bad. So sugar is a great thing to have. You just have to have a way to store it so that nothing can get to it. And that's going to be a key too, is figuring out how to best store this. If you go to Walmart or Lowe's or Home Depot, they all have food grade buckets. And those are fantastic for storing away long-term storage things like we just discussed. Now you're going to say, Lisa, but where do I get this? Where do I go to get this? Okay, you guys, I'm sitting, in the middle of nowhere. And so we normally have to go places or I have to order it online. And if you have a Sam's Club or a Costco, that's a great place to go. And you don't even have to go. A lot of times they'll ship it to you. Like Sam's Club has that membership. I have it, where they'll ship some things to you. Now, they won't ship everything, but they'll ship some things. If you know your prices and you know what's going on, then you can hit up Amazon. I just got a great deal on sugar-free ketchup on there. And if you go to like Walmart, you can do the grocery pickup. You don't have to go into the stores to stock up on this stuff. You just have to know where to go. Look at your smaller stores. Look at your ethnic markets. Look at your dollar stores. Dollar General, okay? I mean, some of these places are great places to find what you can store up at an affordable price in order to do it. I cannot stress strongly enough how important I think a working long and short-term storage pantry is. It saw us comfortably through the first run of COVID. We discovered a couple of things that I was shorter on than I had wanted to be, but not that I was so short on that we were in fear of doing without. And if we had to do without, it wouldn't have made that big a difference. It just would have been a comfort kind of thing, okay? Like peanut butter. Peanut butter and coffee, I'm telling you, the way to my heart. Not together, though. So take a look, start at the beginning, replay this, okay? And also check out the link in the description box below where I will have this more succinctly typed out for you. It's a way to start. And that's the most important step right there, is to start. If you go to food pantries, if you get assistance of any kind, you can do this. You can do this, and it won't cost you a whole bunch of money. If you're tight on space, it won't take up that much space. Time to get some space in that closet and fill it with food instead of clothes that you don't wear or won't wear, okay? I hope that this helps you in getting started and maintaining your pantry, your food storage, long-term, short-term, and your working pantry. And that includes all of your non-food items. All of it makes a difference in how comfortable you are and how well you can get through different issues. Remember, if you like what we do here, please hit that like, subscribe, and share. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook. And until next time, everybody, say hi to Phil. Hi, Phil.
Hello.
Be safe.